You need a story? We've got it for you. Welcome to GVN News, your global vehicle network, with the greatest national and local headlines, reaching your community with stories you rarely hear about. With news anchors Shireen Hancock, Seth Donavan, special entertainment. You need a story? We've got it for you.
From the ocean to the mountains and all of California, a good evening to you all. After increasing frequencies of missile tests by North Korea, the United States, towards the end of April, activated an anti-missile defense system in South Korea called THAAD, or Terminal High Altitude Air Defense System, to counter against North Korean weapons advances. Trump considers the defense system as the best leverage against the North Koreans, but was opposed by China, who claims the defense system is a threat to their airspace and has begun to take retaliatory economic measures against the U.S. counterpart, South Korea. Despite the security benefits of THAAD, there have been complaints from the South Korean people and businessmen in the country who have urged their leader to improve relationships with China. This led to Mr. Moon, the newly elected president of South Korea, to suspend the installation of the remaining THAAD systems on grounds of the need for the government to conduct an environmental assessment on the weapons, which might take a year. The suspensions can be said to be a diplomatic ploy by the South Korean president to placate its business community and China. Out of 6 anti-missile systems which were agreed by the two allies to be installed, only 2 are operational on an abandoned golf course. American military officials say the 2 launchers were still capable of intercepting the North Korean missiles. This decision, however, could have regional and global implications, as North Korea could develop the capability to strike America based in the region, which in turn could lead to an all-out war. Apart from the THAAD defense systems in the region, the United States, as a show of force, deployed a U.S. submarine, the USS Michigan, and an aircraft carrier to conduct drills with South Korea and Japan. North Korea, meanwhile, threatened to sink the aircraft carrier and has said it will continue to bolster its defenses capabilities against the United States' hostile policies. After the 2 nuclear tests made by the North Koreans last year, experts say the North Koreans' knowledge about making warheads could improve. The Trump administration has considered North Korea's nuclear program as the biggest threat the country faces. And in a statement regarding the North Korean regime, the United States will defend itself, always defend itself, and we will always defend our allies. We'll be right back. Now, before the commercial break, we found out how serious North Korea is and what actions they are taking. Now, they do have the ability to create nuclear warheads that can reach us, and in a few years, it very well might reach us anywhere in the world. So I really hope President Trump will make the right decision and just try to make peace, because I think that's what we need now. And I'd like to get back to what I was saying. With Trump's growing frustration over the failure of the Chinese to take stronger actions and rein in the North Koreans, there is a likely possibility that he might result in taking military actions against the region. The North North Koreans have already viewed the American engagement on the Korean Peninsula with the presence of 30,000 troops as a sign of war, and its leader, Kim Jong-un, has said his country would defend itself from any aggressive approach by the US. The era of strategic patience with the North Korean regime has failed, and frankly, that patience is over, the US president said, despite Russia being an ally to the North Koreans. The American policy in Syria, which led to the shooting down of a Syrian fighter jet and series of military actions on the Bashar Assad regime, has already signaled America's intent of not allowing its security to be compromised. Regardless of the region and their allies, there's also going to be a war in the Korean Peninsula, which will be devastating as it will lead to a slippery slope for South Korea and the neighboring country, Japan, as well as for the United States. If this conflict goes to a military solution, it is going to be tragic on an unbelievable scale, Defense Secretary James Mattis warned at a news conference. A handful of scenarios could play out if a military action is taken by the US in the Korean Peninsula, ranging from small-scale artillery to nuclear strikes on densely populated cities such as Seoul and Tokyo, and also by the North Koreans. Combat in the Korean Peninsula would also lead to people being killed, as well as millions of refugees displaced from their homes in cities like Seoul as a result of the war. A more logical military action to take is the use air-to-surface standoff missile, or JSSM, that can hit Pyongyang. The JSSM will allow US F-16s to safely strike nuclear infrastructure and targets deep into North Korea from secure locations near Seoul. But the issue the United States has is knowing if there are more nuclear structures in the region. The former CIA director, Michael Hayden, said that North Korea was one of the toughest intelligence targets in the world. The US president has already warned in an interview that a major conflict with North Korea was viable, even though he is aware of the immense cost of a Korean war and what it would lead to.
Quality is an expense worth investing in. And Mercedes-Benz will not sell you short. On the road in inclement weather, it holds its own. And speaking of excellent service, when you're in the city of Long Beach, see salesman Greg Narcissian at Mercedes-Benz of Long Beach. He's got the right fit for your luxurious comfort needs. So see the producers of comfort when you're in that wonderful city. Today, protesters outside the G20 summit in Hamburg, Germany, got a little out of hand, protesting the fact that Trump and Putin are meeting. Police had to use water hoses to bring them under control. Meanwhile, President Trump and President Putin of Russia met to discuss their strategy of bringing Russia and America together.
Welcome back, and I hope everybody had a safe and happy 4th of July. I definitely saw some fireworks all throughout Los Angeles and Orange County and all over California. And it's just been a beautiful time. I hope you spent time with family. We're here right now bringing you the news, and just being present. And Shireen Hancock right now is in the field, so she should be returning shortly. However, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching this segment, and we will see you next time. This is Seth Donavan for GVN News.